Hey brothers, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. Let me greet everybody real quick. This is going to really be a really deep video, okay? And so, hey, if you're a pure blood Afro, your options are increasing so long as we can avoid the Fefails. All right? Understand this. Our options as men will increase so long as we avoid the Fefails. And when I say avoid, I mean any long-term relationship is going to be a risk to you. All right. And when I say female, I'm talking about the ones that all they have to offer you is their used up body and cat facts. All right. The females don't seem to understand, and we try to explain it to them over and over again. One, when they advertise, they're not advertising for good men. These are not advertising for good men. One is advertising for a Caucasian, a thug will do, and the other is advertising for the streets and the hood. So they see you in none of this. So before we get into this, let me greet everybody real quick. Hovorten hardugu dog, ola oi to the bang, vassis los, bonjour mes amis, kedabawani konnichiwa, ni hao ni ama, sadi bonani, jombo herbaigani, assalamu alaikum, shalom. Now, if ever there was a time when I told you that the significance of relationships is going to be the ability to raise and produce children, going back to the commandments, in order to survive, what the United States government and those who operate within it has done to the entire world, we're going to have to get back to one, people who wasn't afraid, so they did not do the jab. And by people, I mean the females in any land that got that, because either they're going to be sterile, that's a good possibility, or there's the possibility based on a Supreme Court ruling that whoever made the jab that they got will own them and their offspring. In other words, they will not be considered human according to law. All right? So now you understand that this poison is coming everywhere. And remember, these are the ones that elected the person that we have in office now, who is busy taking away everybody's freedom through any means necessary by destroying every spirit of the Constitution. Because remember, pieces of paper don't matter to people like that. But that's another story for another time. While we deal with this, the promotion of family, period, for an Afro man does not exist any longer within the hearts of these. All right? So let me just say this. It's all about the ability for us to raise sons. That's going to be most important, because as you will see that the onslaught that there is have been on Afro men and our seeds who are sons, and there's a reason for it. Now, I'm going to just remind you, all my stuff is in the description box. My donation links are there. Would like donations, but you don't donate to anybody anything you don't have. And really, all right, it's supposed to be out of your abundance. All right, so take care of yourself and family first. But if you hit the lottery, or somebody drop $1 million on you, hey, think about your brother. You know what we're doing in the communities, and so yeah, your help would be welcome. All right, so let's look at this real quick. All right, this has been going on since before slavery. It was the reason why slavery was able to cherish let's say, do well. All right. When African women took the Dutch and the Portuguese into the interior, and then they warped the Afro culture that was there and turned it into the Atlantic slave trade. Many of the women that were on them ships were not slaves, but were actually concubines and wives of the men there. In New Orleans, a lot of the BWs, and the reason why there was so much privilege between the light skin versus the dark skin was until Napoleon had to sell it because of his loss in Haiti. The black women who were married to the French husbands as concubines had houses in the same neighborhood, with his wife. So he could see, the French could see their wife and go see their concubines. And this was willingly. The same way it's still willingly now. And remember, Loving versus Virginia was a Caucasian man that wanted a black woman and married her. And so that's how Afro men got the rights to just expand our horizon. Because BWs have always been doing it. Where do you think people like Lena Horne came from? It wasn't from the relationship between Afro man and a Caucasian woman. Not at that time. It's always been like that. That's why the women that could pass, right? That's why they were able to get in industries and still claim blackness. And I don't claim Lena Horne because her daddy, she belonged to white people. Period. All right? She was just more comfortable with Afro people because the white people didn't consider her because of the one drop rule. But still, her daddy was white. All right? So that's who she belonged with. And we don't have a problem with it. See, the Afro male never had a problem with this. Because we kept saying, if you want to do that, then we're going to expand our horizons. But guess what? This is not as successful as the BW would like you to believe. All right? So, fear and jealousy. All right? Fear and jealousy is what's going on now. And now, we as Afro men are going to be under a greater attack because of fear and jealousy. And yes, these Fefails have a lot to fear. Because remember, we kept saying, okay, y'all are going to hit that wall. Y'all are going to hit that wall. They said, well, I'm going to go up to the wall looking good. We said, all right. All right. But now with the passports and everything, with the influx of the immigrants that are coming across the southern border, with all the women, and especially since a lot of Afro men have been traveling, been making YouTube videos and stuff, a lot of the brothers are starting to wake up and they're starting to not be simps. A lot more men have applied for passports in order to escape, not get away from, escape. It's a mental, spiritual, and a physical escape to get away from the Fefail. The BW Fefail. All right? And so, because they didn't want to hear, they didn't want to listen. We tried talking to them. We tried to reason with them. No, they didn't want none of that. So we said, bye-bye. We out. And we were out not because they wouldn't give good men any play. That's part of the reason. That's what kept us free. Understand this. The best thing that happened to good men is the BW thinking that she was so good that she could give all her love and coochie to thugs, drug dealers, and all the rest of that, and the Caucasian man and any other man except the good Afro man. And then by the time she hit 30 and 40 with all her children and told from other men that man was still going to be around. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is a lot of men are now saying, no, we don't want nothing to do with them at all, not dating or anything, and we're just going to stack paper for a while. Why? Because there's a purpose to that madness. that madness is, then they get their passport, and now they got paper to go and pick up a woman that they can consider more beautiful. And they start to understand that beauty doesn't come from looks. It comes from the amount of femininity that a woman has. So the brothers are like, we out. All right. So here is one of the main reasons that these Fefails are going to be hurt. Right here, 71% of children killed by one parent is killed by the mother. 60% of the victims are boys. It's an attack on our sons. All right, 70.8% to be exact, mother alone with her boyfriend, and only 29%. And the reason why they use percents is that much of the time, the man, all right, they didn't say, they use percent because the men generally take care of children better than the women for a number of reasons. All right, for a number of reasons. There's this woman I want to feature. I'll feature in my live tonight. All right, but she breaks it down. There's an authority that a man has, especially over the children and over the house, when the woman is submissive. This means he brings peace, and the authority that he has, he can lend to the woman if she's submissive. But if she's not submissive, nothing works in the home. And the man leaves, and he should. Right? What these women are now saying, that if they get into a marriage and they have a baby outside of the marriage, that the man is just supposed to accept another man's child, which she committed adultery on him to get, as his own, and that he should just, it should be like nothing happened. That's how, just like our government, they smoke, bro, a whole bunch of smoke up your behind while they're in the midst of doing evil to you. All right. Now, if you go down there, you see that 70.6% child abuse and neglect. And this is from the Department of Health and Human Services, Child Management. All right. That's what this is from. And 70.6% when you look at abuse, it's the mother and her boyfriend, but not the father. Look, mother involved, but not the father. So she's been jacking up the men's children. She's been jacking up the seed of the Afro man with another man, all right, or by herself, and then she wants you to be around after she get run through by everybody. Dudes are not having that anymore. All right? And when you look at this, it's not even close. All right, so men are tired. Here's the other piece of crap that they got up here. Spend a little time on this. The BW went out, marked herself up, got all this stuff over here on her, right? And what they were counting on is that we wouldn't see that, well, the lighter hued melanin might be able to match them body for body. But while they're marking themselves up and putting on all the stuff to look like the one in the middle, they are also doing something else just as bad, and they are not caring about their bodies at all, and they're getting bigger. Now, for Afro men, our wallet is supposed to get bigger, right? And we could get a little bit, but we need to stay in relative shape, but we don't need no six-pack outside of the United States. And so what these women did is they sacrificed good men that could provide, and that if they were getting bigger with him while she was with him, because one of the things is men are more loyal than women ever were. So while he does that, then, you know, and she does that, everything's okay. But that's not when these women are coming to us. They ain't coming to us like this, but looking decent. All right, they're not. They're coming to us all tatted up, all blown up, and they expect us to not like the woman in the middle. All right, I want y'all to understand that. And we're saying, no, that's a no-go. And so, even with that, when men are traveling all over the places, even the women you see moving around like that, we're not tolerating these women either. We're leaving them alone. All right? Because even though they have the body, they still have no femininity. So, here is the greatest fear. Right here. This is the greatest fear. And I can vouch for this. When we go somewhere and get the other woman from another place, what happened is not only do they bring femininity, all right, not only do they bring femininity, all right, but they bring that interest in the man. They bring that intimacy, something that I doubt the BW is even capable of. They'll hold their hands. The reason why these women are complaining that, oh, the Afro men treat the Hispanic women better, that isn't what's really happening. The Hispanic women, when you see me walking around in, when I was doing the videos, when I was talking to Mimi in Brazil, you saw she'd like to come sit in my lap. She would hug on me all the time. I mean, hey, that softened me up. I was like, okay, grab me. She would grab my hand, so I would grab her hand. All right? There's that intimacy where they want to be around you, especially if you are a smart and intelligent Afro man. The complete opposite of what the BW gives you here in the United States. This is their biggest fear. But it's over for them. They have lost. As a matter of fact, no matter what they look like now, they don't even pop up on my radar as interest, because even though they will have a nice body, they don't come across as feminine and intimate. They've lost it, and they've lost it, I think, for a long time, because they have not taught it to their daughters, and they weren't taught by their mom to respect the authority of the man, be intimate and feminine, because that's where your power lies as a woman. But these Hispanic and Caucasian women, they know it, especially these new brand of Caucasian women who are actively seeking Afro men. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comment section. All right? With that said, I'm out.